Welcome to the Chat with Chou podcast, hosted by Chou well-being and belonging consultant, best-selling author, and sought-after speaker. Join Chou as she connects with both new and familiar faces, showcasing their inspiring work and businesses. Together, we will explore insightful conversations, practical tips, and valuable resources aimed at fostering individual and collective growth, both personally and professionally. Let's embark on this journey towards greater well-being and belonging together. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Chat with Chou podcast, where I invite some new and some old friends to talk about what they do so I can introduce you to them and you can add some new resources to your toolbox. So today I have Janie with me. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, thanks so much for being here. Do you mind just sharing a little bit about yourself, who you are and what you do?
I've been in the mental health field close to the past decade, and I've worked in a variety of settings such as child adolescent psychiatry, crisis stabilization, and I've also worked with individuals who've maybe struggled with substance use disorder, eating disorder, trauma. I've also worked plenty in the outpatient clinic setting. So I absolutely love what I do. And so much so that I was compelled to start my own practice called Promised Hope. And I just really wanted to have people come and feel welcomed and have a safe environment to really find hope and healing. And so basically, as a board certified psychiatric nurse practitioner, I specialize in evaluating and treating a variety of mental health conditions. And so when people come to see me for the first time, we might first discuss their main concerns, and then we'll go into a comprehensive review of their history, such as their family background, medical conditions, lifestyle choices, and all of that. And then we'll collaborate together on the best treatment approach for them, whether it be medication management, therapy, or coordinating with another kind of specialist. So my professional recommendations usually revolve around um, the interconnectedness between mind, body, and spirit. And I really hope that people find holistic care just because that's a very crucial part in complete healing and wellness, especially when it comes to mental health services. Um, Fragmented care is something that might need to be addressed in other settings. And here at Promised Hope, that's one thing that we take care to consider that everyone has a place where they're holistically provided for.
Oh, beautiful. Thanks so much for sharing that. So you did touch a little bit about how, you're passionate about mental health and that's, how you started. But do you mind going a little deeper on what inspired you to start Promise Hope?
I've had a passion to serve in the mental health field, and it stemmed from my desire to see people thrive and really meet their full potential despite challenges. And I've come to know that outcomes in life, despite any difficulties within or outside of our control, really are tied closely to our mindset and mentality. And so, historically, psychology has studied where things can go wrong that can negatively impact people. And it turns out that, yes, these areas of study are valid, especially when it comes to pathology, genetic predispositions, trauma that can really impact a person's life. And so a lot of these kinds of factors can present as obstacles that hinder individuals from meeting their full potential and causing them not to flourish as much as they could. And so it's now emerging research shows that there's through positive psychology that there are factors that can actually enable people to find healing and hope and thrive. And it's well known now that people do have the capacity to thrive, to build resilience, and to adapt and find meaning in hardships. And so I find that all very fascinating. And so that's what inspired me to call the practice Promised Hope because I believe that everyone, and I strongly affirm that everyone has the ability and has hope to flourish and find meaning and fulfillment in life. And as a Christian, I ultimately believe that Jesus Christ is the promised hope for all of humanity. But I never mean to preach at anybody. I really just want a safe place for there to be faith integration alongside in the mental health clinical setting if people so choose.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, it's sad that our system of care often focus on what's wrong, right? Instead of looking at what can help people thrive. And so, like you, I'm very passionate about positive psychology, looking at things a little differently and giving people that hope, right, that can help them move forward. So, what are some of the biggest challenges or barriers that you see in our mental health systems these days?
Yeah, and thanks for asking. And I'd first like to address where mental health has progressed. And so there have been advances in accessibility and the kinds of forms of care people can are able to access, such as telehealth services. And then there's also the shifting away from the institutionalization to the community-based services, such as through peer support groups and outpatient services. And then also there's a lot more public awareness on signs and symptoms to look out for, as well as a wide array of treatment options that are evidence-based that people can choose from if they so do. And so that that I mean, even though these advancements are great, there are still barriers that need to be addressed, such as there's a mental health specialist shortage in certain areas, specifically in rural settings. And this unfortunately can create gaps in people's care, such as not seeing the kind of specialist that they need for certain concerns, or perhaps they're on a long wait list before they're able to see certain specialists. And then another barrier is affordability, especially for those who don't have insurance. This can really prevent people from even reaching out when they want to, and just navigating all of the complexities of insurance policies when they do have it. And then also, there's the stigma in mental health where societal and cultural norms at times can place a lot of pressure on people to conform to a certain standard, and they might feel like they're being judged or that they're looked at as somehow deficient or weak. And so this might cause a lot of hesitation to reach out when support is very much needed. And then also, even though the expansion of mental health is a great thing, its industrialization, unfortunately, has caused a lot of people to feel like they're dehumanized and that they're perhaps labeled as a diagnosis or a billing code. And so they might not necessarily feel too that all of their needs are being met holistically. And so this is a barrier in them receiving holistic care that's crucial for their healing and support. And so I just wanted to add that at Promised Hope, some of the ways that we strive to cross over these barriers is, for one, we are a telehealth platform, so it's accessible to anyone residing in North Carolina. And then also, we make sure that pricing is transparent. It's pretty affordable compared to standard industry prices, as well as the treatment that you expect to receive. It's integrative, it's person-centered, and it's holistic. And I lastly want to just mention that all people will come and we're a non-judgment zone, and it actually is a strength rather than a weakness to reach out for help.
Yeah, I totally agree. And often because of stigma, you're right. It's stigma around mental health in society in general. It pushes people away or keeps people away from getting the help. And when people want to get help, there's not enough providers. And so it's really good to have places like Promise Hope where people can come and not feel judged, feel like, a human, not a number, right? And, be supported holistically. So what are some other things, maybe, from a client perspective that someone can expect, as they come to Promise Hope? I know you mentioned some of those from the,
in the general sense per se, but if someone's coming in as a client per se, what should they expect the process to be like?
Yeah, and I guess I'll just drive this point home again that we really do deliver compassionate care that is patient-centered, individualized to their needs. And so we see individuals 6 and up and work with families and children who have behavioral, developmental, emotional concerns. And I specifically work with parents to ensure that they have a treatment plan that is developmentally appropriate for their child. And then also, I do, in a nutshell, offer psychiatric evaluations, medication management, therapeutic support, and all of the services are telehealth for individuals residing in the state of North Carolina. I am not a licensed therapist, although I can offer therapeutic services within my scope of practice as a psychiatric nurse practitioner, and then refer out as needed. Um, and then, like I've mentioned earlier, there's faith-based integration options for patients who so choose. We can explore biblical truths, spiritual insights at their own comfort and pace. And then also, education is a core value at Promised Hope to ensure that clients are aware of their treatment options, that they understand their conditions, diagnoses, so that this really just empowers them to take charge of their mental health, to stay compliant, and really be informed in the decisions that we make moving into their care. And so that's something I um, want people coming in to be aware of, because my ultimate goal is for people to find meaningful support when they come to Promised Hope.
Yeah, and that all sounds like very meaningful support indeed. And so as we're wrapping up here, do you mind sharing for people listening that might just be maybe someone struggling with some mental health challenges there? What are some ways people can improve their mental health?
Yeah, and I'm glad that you asked, because there's so many different ways that can improve, and kind of just driving into the vein of the theme that I've mentioned previously, that people have the capacity to be resilient, find meaning in life despite challenges that they face. And so I think that it's interesting that emerging research is confirming the ancient wisdom that we've had all along, especially through Christian traditional practice like practicing gratitude, positive meditation. And these are just important ways that we can improve our self-esteem, build healthier relationships, have more innovative ways to problem solve. And also, like, just practical ways to do this is perhaps having a gratitude journal, jotting something down in it every day can just remind us of what we're thankful for, and overall just better our predisposition and give us a positive attitude. And so, another way one can improve their mental health is through lifestyle choices made. This can include eating well, eating healthy, um, and then also adequate sleep. And most importantly, just to note that even when you go to bed is important, because there are certain times that your body's able to get better deep rest, and it's actually before midnight where your body goes through deep sleep and has more of an ability to heal itself and recover. And then there's also getting enough exercise. A lot of the times when we do that, it releases endorphins and serotonins that are natural mood boosters. And so just these three basic things, doing that consistently can help improve mood, energy levels, and improve long-term brain functioning over time. And then I also lastly just wanted to mention another way. One of the biggest ways actually to improve one's mental health is having a strong support system, having connection and community. It adds meaning to one's life, and it's just overall very beneficial. Harvard actually did a study that followed a large sample of people over the course of their entire lives, and the whole purpose was to find out what made the great life. And so a lot of, life transitions, major changes happened in the people's lives that they looked at like they might have died of cancer, unfortunately, or they might have gotten married, moved, traveled, had all of these things happen to them, and comes to find out it's not necessarily what happened to people that made them have a meaningful life, but it was who they did life with. And so I can't stress enough that just having a sense of support and community is very crucial for mental health and finding meaning and fulfillment. And so just as you're gathering all of this information, I highly encourage also looking into other resources. There's websites that you can go on to showcase different ways to improve your mental health. And I also want to hone in that it's important to do all of these on a consistent, regular basis. Otherwise, it's not very effective. So we're all in this journey together, and we should all strive to make this a daily habit to improve our mental health over time.
Yeah, and I really appreciate you kind of touching on those things, because sometimes we're not aware, or we forget that the smallest things, the daily habits that we do actually have a big impact on our mental health. Like I say, sleeping well, and sleeping
Yeah,
enough, right? Eating healthy, getting enough rest, and getting exercise. Those things that, like, well, yeah, that's what the doctor says, but it helps not just our physical bodies, it helps, mental health as well, or, brain or mind. So that thanks for, for sharing that. And I love when you said about making it a habit, making it a routine. I often say that what we do once helps once, but what we do often helps often. So things
right.
that we can build it into a routine, into our daily lives, it actually, we reap the benefits long term. Yeah.
So
So if
true.
someone is listening to this and like, oh my goodness, I love this. I need to connect with her. I need this support. I need to find that promised hope. Where can people find you?
Yeah, so you can find me through my business website at promisedhopepsychiatry.com. And here you can learn a little bit more about my services. You can contact me here directly, and you can even schedule an appointment. I also offer a free 15-minute consultation if you'd like to know this is the direction you'd like to go in, or if we'd make a good fit. And then also you can find Promised Hope through Facebook and Instagram. And so feel free to connect, follow along, share with any individuals you might know that have mental health struggles or are just interested in learning a little bit more. I'd love to be a resource and go along with anyone willing on their healing journey.
Thank you so much. And we will be sure to share all those links, with the notes here for our time together. But thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for what you do, and how you're helping others, like you said, find that healing and walk with them on that healing journey. For everyone listening, we'll share the links. Please reach out to her, share with others who need it, and let's all go out there and make it a great day.
Thank you for tuning in to the Chat with Chou podcast. We hope today's episode inspired and informed you on your journey towards growth. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Follow Chou on social media to stay updated on upcoming episodes and more resources. Until next time, take care and keep striving for well-being and belonging in all areas of your life.